Learn how to see. Realize that everything connects to everything else. He who loves practice without theory is like the sailor who boards ship without a rudder and compass, and never knows where he may cast. Learning is the only thing the mind never exhausts, never fears, and never regrets. In rivers, the water that you touch is the last of what has passed, and the first of that which comes, so with present time. Art is the queen of all sciences, communicating knowledge to all the generations of the world. The mind that engages in subjects of too great variety becomes confused and weakened. The acquisition of knowledge is always of use to the intellect, because it may thus drive out useless things, and retain the good. For nothing can be loved or hated unless it is first known. Truth at last cannot be hidden. Dissimulation is of no avail. Dissimulation is to no purpose, before so great a judge. Falsehood puts on a mask. Nothing is hidden under the sun. If you find from your own experience that something is a fact, and it contradicts what some authority has written down, then you must abandon the authority, and base your reasoning on your own findings. Man has much power of discourse, which for the most part is vain and false. Animals have but little, but it is useful and true, and a small truth is better than a great lie. We must doubt the certainty of everything which passes through the senses, but how much more ought we to doubt things contrary to the senses, such as the existence of God and the soul. The human bird shall take his first flight, filling the words with amazement, all writings with his fame, and bringing eternal glory to those whose nest whence he sprang. The men of experiment are like the ant, they only collect and use. But the bee gathers its materials from the flowers of the garden and of the field, but transforms and digests it by a power of its own. When once you have tasted flight, you will forever walk the earth, with your eyes turned skyward, for there you have been, and there you will always long to return. The water you touch in a river is the last of that which has passed, and the first of that which is coming. Thus it is with time present. Life, if well spent, is long. If the painter wishes to see beauties that charm him, it lies in his power to create them, and if he wishes to see monstrosities that are frightful, ridiculous, or truly pitiable, he is Lord and God thereof. I abhor the supreme folly of those who blame the disciples of nature in defiance of those masters who were themselves her pupils. It is an acknowledged fact that we perceive errors in the work of others more readily than in our own. Truly man is the king of beasts, for his brutality exceeds them. We live by the death of others. We are burial places. Painting is poetry, that is seen rather than felt, and poetry is painting, that is felt rather than seen. A painter should begin every canvas with a wash of black, because all things in nature are dark, except where exposed by the light. Once you have tasted flight, you will forever walk the earth, with your eyes turned skyward, for there you have been, and there you will always long to return. Study without desire spoils the memory, and it retains nothing that it takes in. It had long since come to my attention that people of accomplishment rarely sat back and let things happen to them. They went out and happened to things. One can have no smaller or greater mastery than mastery of oneself. I have from an early age abjured the use of meat, and the time will come, when men such as I will look upon the murder of animals, as they now look upon the murder of men. As a well-spent day brings happy sleep, so life well used brings happy death. There are three classes of people: those who see when they are shown, those who do not see. The function of muscle is to pull, and not to push, except in the case of the genitals and the tongue. Principles for the development of a complete mind: study the science of art. Study the art of science. Develop your senses, especially learn how to see. Realize that everything connects to everything else. I have been impressed with the urgency of doing. Knowing is not enough, we must apply. Being willing is not enough, we must do. Iron rusts from disuse, stagnant water loses its purity, and in cold weather becomes frozen, even so does inaction sap the vigors of the mind. I have offended God and mankind because my work didn't reach the quality it should have. He who wishes to be rich within a day will be hanged within a year. A poet knows he has achieved perfection, not when there is nothing left to add, but when there is nothing left to take away. All sciences are vain and full of errors, that are not born of experience, the mother of all knowledge. Blinding ignorance does mislead us. Oh, wretched mortals, open your eyes. Obstacles cannot crush me, every obstacle yields to stern resolve.